Good afternoon, everyone. And once again, my name is Zenzi Sewa. Hello. And of course, this is Spiritual Infinity. And my guest today is Danya Levinson. And she is an intuitive empowerment coach. And she's going to explain what she does. But as you know, it is about our guests, how their journey took them to connect to their spirituality. And it's a way of us hoping that we can connect with them, we can see ourselves in them, because a lot of us are now awakening, and sometimes we are meant to feel that we're lesser than, or we might feel that there's something wrong with us, or things are going on and we're not sure of. But there's nothing wrong with you. And if there are things that are strange, it's okay. It's things are always within us, and we're in a time where things are being revealed. So hopefully, by listening to our guests in this program, you can identify and see how you can manage your spiritual connection. So without much ado, I'll introduce you to our guest, Danya, who's in Chicago. And they've also started to have snow. So it's a bit chilly all around. Danya, hello and welcome to Spiritual Infinity.
Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Yes, because it's morning in your time, and it's what time is it in Chicago?
Well, it's a little late morning, but it's 10:15.
And it's 4:15 in the afternoon here, so there's 6 hours difference. So she says good morning, and I say good afternoon. Danya, so today you've come along to share your journey of how you connected to your spirituality. So I give the floor to you.
Oh, great. Thank you. How do I make this in a condensed version? I am currently an intuitive empowerment coach. My background started at an early age. I was interested in art. I was an artist, and I was told, that's probably, that's not really a career. Let's focus on something different. And school was challenging for me. I couldn't ever really tell you why, but it was a challenge. My senior year in college, I was studying speech language pathology. I had started internships many years prior to that. And I went for an eye exam, and I found out that I had an eye disorder. So the eyes actually weren't working properly as the muscle. So once that was corrected, I started making straight A's, and I thought, well, that's interesting. I never knew that the eye muscles weren't properly, because that's all I ever knew.
Mm-hmm.
So after speech language pathology, I shifted into corporate recruiting. I was an executive recruiter for many years. After that, I was helping people with their life, with their profession on a daily basis, which affected their life. So I decided I'm a life coach. And when I investigated that further, I found out I did not create life coaching. This actually was an industry. So I got my certification from an accredited program. This was back in 2004, over 20 years ago. And through my professional evolution, my personal evolution, it's shifted into intuitive empowerment coaching. So in hindsight, looking back, when the eye muscles weren't working properly, and many different challenges that I went through as a child, which I definitely believe was I try to look at things with the silver lining now. There's been many years of healing, was for my own soul's growth and evolution. So I take all of that experience. I have been accumulating all of that experience. When the vision wasn't working properly, I was using my intuition more. And I had a lot of other experiences where my intuition was being refined, let's say. So I had a few moves. There's been a lot of changes in my life. And through that, actually, there was one that was a little more major than the other. The short story is I had burns. I had burns that incurred on my arms. Those were third-degree burns. And I was sitting at my home. My supervisor, my boss at the time, had kept my job, and that's when we started working remotely from home. We didn't have cameras, but we had phones. And obviously, even though I was still hurt and I was healing, I could still work. So my boss allowed me to continue to work from home, which I was grateful for. And I started reading. I started reading a lot more. And one day I heard, "You're not your body." And I thought, I, I don't know who's talking here. So that was just one of many spiritual awakenings that I had. And it's been quite a culmination, but what I do now is I assist and support other people with their own personal liberation, connecting to their higher self, finding ways, tools. I have over 25 years of experience personally and professionally in so many different areas. I started working when I was 11 years old, and I'm still going. So my opinion is we're born with nothing. We leave this world with nothing. What are we doing in between? And how
Yeah.
can I use my experiences, the humbling trauma that I've gone through and all that I've learned and all that I've helped other people with right now through this shift that we're all participating in with humanity, this awakening, this mass consciousness of awakening. I mean, we can feel the energies. The weather seems to be changing radically for whatever that's worth. We had light shows, we had snow shows, we have 70 this weekend. There are a lot of energies astrologically. Um, it's palpable. So, yeah, please.
Yeah. Let me stop you there and let me take you back, because
Please.
it is about how that time when you had the burns and you heard a voice within saying, "You are not your body." Take us back to that time when you had that burns, when you heard that. How did that affect you? How did that make you change? What was going on when you kind of stopped and heard that voice?
Well, first I thought I was crazy. I started thinking, wait a second, if I'm hearing this, who's talking? And this is, I minored in psychology. I was having a very sane conversation with myself. And essentially what had happened was it just took me to a much deeper place inside,
Mhm.
a connection to something, um, a connection to my higher self. So it was more of an awakening,
Mhm.
awakening of my consciousness. Um, I know they have some movies like this. I'm trying to think of. I think it's um, what is it? Like something where he has a half of a floor, and they go being John Malkovich,
Yeah,
where you're actually observing yourself.
yeah.
So there is a difference between, and again, if you have medical needs, I'm not a doctor. If you have true medical needs that need attention, please, contact your doctor. But if you feel it differently, it's a different feeling than that. So I also happen to be surrounded by books, which I was never a reader. As I told you with my eyes, I never enjoyed reading. It was something I did. I still did well in school, just not, I didn't excel in the way that you would expect, for the amount of studying that I did, which was, again, a great habit, a great learning habit. But so I had all these books around me and I started reading these books, and they were about law of attraction and energy and quantum physics. And frankly, I don't even remember ever buying these books. And I know one person who gave me a few, and she insisted she never gave them to me. She has no idea where they came from. So who knows? I'm not sure where the books came from, but that was a really nice foundation that I also had. Abraham Hicks was a big part. They used to send
Yeah,
out CDs, and you would get a CD in the mail and
yeah,
listen to your CD, before we had all this download everything.
yeah.
And those were great. I love those cassette. So I also started working with tarot cards and oracle cards back then, because in astrology, I'm a Taurus moon, Taurus rising. Anyway, there's a lot of Taurus going on right now. I mentioned that. But these were also skills that I started honing, and I started using my cards, and I started noticing that cards would pop out too when I was coaching. So
Mhm.
I started using a lot of tools. But again, just to reiterate, these tools are used from divine love. That is the only place I use these from. It's not ego, denial, projection. And I think it's really important for people who are waking up to also maintain and manage their spiritual hygiene.
Mhm.
It's, in my opinion, very real.
Yeah.
So,
Now, when you say spiritual hygiene, because you're talking to people sometimes, as not sometimes, who are listening, who are now beginning, and they want that guidance, they want that understanding. What do you mean by spiritual hygiene?
yeah, that's a great question. It can mean many things. I mean, it's actually quite extensive. It's really whatever's going to work for you. But what it essentially means is that if you subscribe and agree with the belief that we are spiritual beings having a human experience,
Yes.
then there are different other types of actions that I find beneficial to take care of on a regular basis. Just as you get up and you brush your teeth or you take a shower, whether you like it or not, it's just something you do as a human being. So if you're a spiritual being, what is important right now if the old is dying and the new is coming in?
Yeah.
What is important when all of this is taking place? What's important is cleansing your energetic space, creating energetic boundaries. Um, the music you listen to in your environment either has a detriment, in my opinion, and again, it's not even my opinion, it's certain frequencies. You can look this up.
Yes.
It's scientific, even though I don't like to use that word. 528, 639, certain frequencies vibrate at certain levels. Actually, it's funny, my son was mentioning this the other day, and I said it's hertz and frequencies, and he said, oh yes, this is science. And I said, exactly. And I said, we can listen to 528 love, and that actually shifts and changes the vibration. And he started doing the calculations, and I thought, yes, it does make sense. If you understand this, it actually makes sense. It's not woo-woo.
No.
So what is the music you can surround yourself with? Just look into that maybe. And I'm not saying you only can listen to certain type, but look into that. You might find it beneficial. There are, well, prayer is, in my opinion, it's free, and it's not just saying, begging for something or have mercy, but it's communicating. It's, how do you start your day? Are you just doing whatever the program is, or are you finding time to connect with your higher self, giving your higher self that opportunity to connect with you, to um, co-create with you during the day?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how are you starting your day? Are you getting out of bed and saying, oh my gosh, it's another day, here we go again, it's another blah 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 blah, whatever the words you put into there? Because like they say in Hebrew, abracadabra, what I speak I create.
That's right. Yeah.
So there are so many different, and I can go on and on and on. I personally have a lot of different favorites. I use crystal energy healing. I've always been interested in crystals. I studied geology in school because I don't know, some reason that's what I picked. So it's great. It
Yeah.
all is in perfect alignment. Um, Following things that you're interested in, and maybe stepping back and sometimes saying, it doesn't have to be my job, but maybe it can be a hobby or something I want to research more. It doesn't mean I have to quit everything and say, I'm just gonna, I don't know.
Okay.
Fill
So
in, yeah.
from the time you've had that burn, and that inner voice said, you're not just your body, which then threw you into a way of starting to read and look into things more. Did you find at that time, and I'm asking this because you got burnt, you've been told this, you started to look in, did you then look to yourself as, how can this be healed, or what can I do, or how do I raise from this situation?
Yes, all of it. So I've had a lot of opportunities to decide, how do I raise from this situation? Do I either Do I look at this as an opportunity and see the silver lining, or do I just, which one is stronger, whichever one you feed, fear and worry, or what's the silver lining and how can I grow from this? I see a lot of this around me regularly. So I chose how are we going to grow? How, we've made it through so many challenges. And I always look back and think how different I am because of this. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to rise to the occasion and somehow find a way to do this, because it was pretty intense. I had third-degree burns on both arms. And so first I also started with natural healing. I also was looking into essential oils. Natural ways of working with my body and supporting in my body. And it sort of just opened up a lot of things. I stopped a lot of habits and patterns that were very destructive. Not that I was ever really doing these intentionally, but it just was a little more eye-opening and eye-awakening. So, I used to live on, not that there's anything wrong with it, just cups and cups of coffee. All day. I don't even drink coffee anymore. So, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I get my caffeine, a little bit of caffeine through some raw cacao, and I am, and the polyphenols. That's why I eat my raw chocolate, my polyphenols. But if you look at this in a bigger perspective, so what I do is people who are starting to wake up and they're saying, whoa, wait a second, this is all very confused. Not confusing, but this is a lot.
Yes.
This is a lot to take in. This is a lot to understand. What do I even do next? And I started talking about this years ago, and people were a little confused by it. And then slowly people were saying, oh, yes. And as things started shifting on our world, people started coming back to me and saying, wait a second, now I think I understand what you're talking about, and became a lot more receptive and open and interested. So I think I answered your question, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, you did, because I just wanted to get out that, when these things start to happen to us, it does shake us. It does make us stop and look deeper. And when you start to, and you just said it, you no longer drink coffee. There are a lot of things you stop doing, and it's not because you're forced to, but it's as you start to awaken and as you start to connect to your higher self and that divine energy, it starts to put you in a mind where you look at the things you do, and you've been doing them and you don't realize them, as you said, and then you start to realize, oh, probably that's not the right thing to do. And that's simply because we haven't been taught to live how we should be living, because of just our families and the way society is, because we've shifted away, and it's time for us to shift back and to awaken back to who we are and treat ourselves in the way we should be treated.
Yeah, and it's completely okay to have patterns and habits, and maybe it's just from conditioning. And again, sometimes people ask me, well, how do you change people? And I say, I don't change people. I don't make someone change. When a person wakes up and wants to change, that's when I work with that person, because they value the humbling trauma I've gone through for so many years and so much. And again, I am grateful to be able to use my wisdom and my experience and everything I've gone to help other people, so they don't need that challenging experience. And again, we're all different. We all have our different story.
Yes.
That's what we're here for. We're all here for our own personal evolution. But just like when we go to a gym and we want to coach, and we don't have to look like our coach, and our coach has clients who are all different looking, but they understand our individual needs. Or even a contractor, what are you missing? What do you need help with? How can we build this foundation? How can we rebuild this in the way that's good for you? So I have we've been working, a lot of us have been working in this industry for a long time. And as everything is transpiring right now and opening up, I mean, I couldn't be more excited. Sometimes it's a little, it's a little woozy, but and the energies, and again, also with a lot of the EMFs that are hitting our planet and everything else that's affecting us. I was talking to someone the other day and I said, well, not to mention that today's a super full moon. We have lots of EMFs hitting us. I think there was something else going on. And he looked at me and said, oh, okay, that's all. So it's not always, sometimes it's a combination of so much that is completely out of our control right now. So you might all of a sudden start feeling physical symptoms. And again, if you have true symptoms, go see a doctor. I'm not a doctor, but there are different things affecting our energy right now that maybe are confusing and we don't understand what that is.
Yeah.
And your animals and your children might start acting differently because they do sense that. So
We're living in times when there is a shift taking place. There is a lot of changes taking place, but we as humankind are also evolving, and therefore we are awakening. Not all of us, but those of us who are ready. And as you said, it's not about forcing anybody. You've got to be ready to take that step and to be aware and wanting to search, ask the right questions, and to go forward into, I suppose, the unknown, but yet everything is within us. And it is simply an awakening, because we are more powerful than we realize. And it's just that we need to change our way of thinking and our actions so that we can be the best authentic self that we are.
right.
And
I'm
go ahead.
sorry.
No, go
And
ahead.
if we don't have experience or know how to do this, that's where we seek people like yourself or myself, because um, there are a lot of people out there right now that, I mean, social media is just completely expanding more than we've ever seen. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I also feel it's really important to trust your intuition, to listen to your intuition, if you need clarity, if you need guidance, ask for divine intervention, ask for support. Again, just like you would if you're hiring anyone for anything, even like, especially if it's your house, if you want someone to help you with that solid foundation. um, Everyone's selling a window. You can buy a window from anybody, but it's actually that person who's helping you with the foundation and everything around it. And anyway, so you can feel your intuition. You can.
Yeah.
That's what I help other people with, is connecting to that and finding a way to use your intuition in moving forward. I have a free download on my website. It's an intuitive guidance checklist. I've always been strongly connected to that. So that's something that I find that's one of the most beneficial tools as well.
Yeah. Yeah, there are many things that are out there that can help you along your journey. And along that journey, you will look at things. If it doesn't resonate, put it down, move on, keep on going until it resonates within. Because as I said, everything is in. And the main thing is to ask for divine guidance. When you ask for divine guidance, you are actually opening up a channel within you, and you're igniting a pathway, because from the time you ask, what it's saying is that you're starting to become aware and you're trying this. And then once you ask for that, is to listen and to be aware of your feelings, because when you do get that guidance, it can come in different ways. It may come listening to this program. It may come in you hearing somebody speak. It may come that something in your body might give a twitch, or may come in a book. Ask, because you're always heard.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have to do our part as well to co-create.
Co-create.
And that's we're not taught that in school. That's not a course you take in school. Unless I teach that course, I'd be more than happy to teach something like that.
And this is why in this way I've interviewed a few people with education. We really need to look at our education system, because it's not teaching mankind what it really needs to teach us to be the beings we're meant to be.
Right.
But that is going to change, but it will take some effort.
Well, that's funny. My son asked me a long time ago when he was a little toddler, and he said, "How did I get here?" And I said, "Oh, I've got an answer for you. I got a really good answer for you." And I told him, you're a spiritual being and you wanted to have a human experience. So you found this couple and you're like, that'll be mom, that'll be dad. I'll take these experiences and, the bad, the good. And my mom's going to have my back and she's going to coach me whether I like it or not. And yeah, so, and he was born on Thanksgiving in a few weeks to say, I believe, to be thankful for me, be grateful, be thankful. And like Eckhart Tolle says, if thank you is the only prayer we said, that would be enough. So when we are grateful, when we're thankful, that's how we shift the energies. That's how we create from the inside out.
Yes. Having gratitude.
Experiences, opportunities to be grateful and thankful for. And I'm not saying that it's all peaches and cream or whatever it is, pumpkin pie, but that's our favorite. But taking inspired action, it doesn't just magically drop in your lap. No. Because sometimes people say, well, I'm not listening to that. It's, it just magically happens. It doesn't magically happen. You also need to be a participant. So it's a combination. And yeah.
Cause and effect. It's cause and effect. We have to take action in order to get an effect. And in that spiritual awakening, as Danya said, it's not always peaches and cream. And even with her burn, she's had to look at, why did this happen? What is it that I've got to learn from this? What is it I've understood? From that burn, that voice came out and said, this is not your body. This was her shaking, painful as it may be, but it is about listening, and it is about realizing that every step, everything that we do, there's a reason. And it's not necessarily the way we want it to be, but we make the decision, we look at things, we take an action. From that action, there is a cause, there is a reaction. And if that reaction is what we like, continue. If it's not, then maybe we need to take another. But nothing is a punishment. It is a learning curve. It is for us to understand how to do, what not to do, or maybe to stop and think and look again.
Well, and I've seen some, they have some athletes, because the one part of my experience, along with many, was it was extremely humbling. I mean, and I think if anyone goes through a health condition, you realize what really is a priority, what's important to you. Is it going to be this event or this inanimate object or something external that's just going to really fulfill me? Or sometimes when you go through humbling experiences, you start appreciating your relationships, or a hug, or a laugh, or a conversation, or, when it's your end of day, when you transition to the other spiritual realm, you'll look back and thinking, what was it? Was it that taste of chocolate? Was, the wind, or standing at the lake? So many items I could list. Or was it just go, 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 get the carrot, go, 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 you'll be happy when you're wealthy, or you'll be happy when you look like you're 20 and get a facelift, or whatever is being suggested out there right now. So I'm not sure where I was going with all of that, but
it is about stopping and looking and reassessing. And when you start on that spiritual path, your mind, your wants, your needs start to shift, because your values change. And as you
Right.
see for the carrot, go and go, go and get this, the house, the car, the shoe, your values change. You start to look at things differently, and you start to see what is important. And you also start to ask, what is life about? And in that, you start to look at values. What is, and this is what we need to ask, what is life all about? And
Right.
we're not told to ask those questions because it's not part of what I say society, but it's not what part of those that would have us, or those who would pull the strings, want us to ask. We're just meant to keep on the treadmill
Right.
and
Focus.
away, and not focus on the real issue. What is life all about? What are we here for? And
Right.
therefore, when we start to ask those questions, we're not encouraged to even look deeper, to know about deeper. We're given certain things in front of us, but then we are distracted from looking at the real meaning of those things that will help us to understand that we are powerful beings, just that we be sleeping. And it's not until we have, as you say, that burn or something happens, and then that voice raises its head. And then we start to think, what is that voice? What is that all about? And that's because we're ready to awaken.
Hmm. And I've seen a lot of people more recently with health challenges, who are, and I've reconnected with them, and I'm just so grateful for the connection, because I think we can both sense it at a deeper level
Yes.
that, hey, I value this relationship, or how are you, or having someone root for you, or just connect with you. It's
Yeah.
just really, it's powerful. And again, you can feel that. I do a lot of different lives, and it's with uplifting energies and intentions and affirmations and being aware, and basically reminders of all of these things, because and then when one or more of us come together, just as to paraphrase, we're really powerful, and we can really shift and elevate that energy. It's palpable. Everyone feels it. Everyone leaves and just feels good, and maybe they don't know why they feel good, but they feel it. Or they'll say, I'm just connected to the energy. And of course we know what that means, so it's not a judgment or someone's better than another one. It's just you can feel the energy and the authenticity. And sometimes when people have physical challenges, I was thinking in my mind of people maybe who've lost a limb, but then they say, I'm not giving up. They get a prosthetic somehow. Some people do, some people don't. They start running, they help others. They help others in needs, and maybe they were an Olympic athlete. I mean, there's just so many different instances, and then they really are showing an example of how you can still move forward, what's really a priority, what you can really do. I mean, I sometimes I see the videos where they don't have arms, and and they're, and they're taking care of their children, and they're, we it makes you feel like, how can I complain? How can I complain about something? So not to be negative, but it just sometimes gives you the impetus to say, okay, what can I do? And maybe if I can just help one other person, I can feel good about my life. Or if I can help more than one person, or if I can put my head down on the pillow at night and feel good about myself, that's what matters. And that's what I personally feel. And I'm here for this time to help humanity in as many ways that I can, using my experiences, the knowledge that I've gained, all of the tools, everything that's in my book, to assist and support humanity as they're waking up and moving and waking up in consciousness, so that this can be a nice, positive, easy, uplifting experience. And everyone will choose their own paths. It's not my decision. Everyone has their own path, their own purpose for evolving, and whatever that is for them individually. But for people who are saying, yes, I am waking up, and
It's
how do I shift and change my life right now? How do I reprioritize my life? And yeah,
now
and move. Yeah.
you're talking about that now. This is your field of what you do. So tell us how you work with people, what you do in order to help and to assist in that progress.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, when people wake up, I mean, they've known for quite some time that where to find me if this happens. So we identify what their goals are, what their priorities are, what their experiences have been. I mean, there's a lot of different factors that come into play, but really taking a good inventory of what they've been through, what they're looking for, what's happening in their life, and then if there are inspirational tools that I can use to assist them and what those might be and what they can do. So it's really meeting on a weekly basis or however frequently they want, just like you would with a dietitian or a trainer. You don't just say, oh, I went to work out once and I'm good.
No,
It,
it's
it,
continual.
it's I don't want to say it's a commitment, but it's a commitment to yourself. It's a commitment to yourself, and with a coach and someone who's supporting you and someone who has the tools and the experiences for many different ways that I've had quite a few experiences, and it's not just your personal experience, but it's also the books, and I think it's a combination of both.
Mhm.
So and then we meet, we again use different tools, whatever inspirational other ideas and factors we can use. And that's how and then when they start seeing shifts in their life, that's when they start realizing of what they can do. Your plan changes regularly. It's not stagnant. So just as your diet, you don't just go from I want to lose 20 pounds and eat carrots all day. There's a certain pattern, or even your weight. I think some people, there are a lot of people who, meet with the trainers, and the only thing they can do at first is just walk, and they start walking and then they start lifting weights. So there are also things that might be experiences or traumas you've had, or uh, previous lifetimes. There's a lot of different factors that come into play. So I always wish I could just give one answer. That would be a lot easier, but everyone is absolutely different. So it's different for each person.
Right. So with each that you have different tools looking at what each person, and I understand you there, because I do the same thing, because not everybody's the same, and not everybody can take it this way and need it that way because of the factors and what's happening in their life. So you have to look at the individual and see how you can work with them in order to help them go forward. And it is, if I'm right in saying, it's about facilitating them and empowering them so they can start standing up on their feet, move forward. And I must say here, and I'm sure you agree with it, it's not about you giving them this and right, that's it. No, it's a continual. As you grow, you change and things change, and you look at things differently, and you have to and you adjust to that in order to keep on that light path, so that they grow with the right knowledge and connecting to the right source to help them through their life to face if any obstacles or challenges, don't say obstacles, any challenges that may come up. So you actually empower them with those tools to see their life through.
Right. And I call those, challenges for your own personal evolution and your own personal liberation. So it's similar to school. You start, and again, not that anyone's in a grade or being labeled, but you don't start in college. You don't just say, well, I
Right.
read the book and let's start in college. You start in kindergarten and you move through. And there are people I've worked with who now they say like, and I saw the habit, and I saw the pattern. And this person, and now I know, and I did something different, and then it shifted and changed. And isn't that so? Oh, actually, that's the usual one I get. You're going to think this is crazy. And I always say, oh, no, I don't. I don't think anything is crazy. And then they tell me a story about something really surprising that happened that they couldn't have planned. And it was exactly in the direction that they wanted and led them to an opportunity for something they had been working on. So great. That's exactly what we're talking about. So, and then they see the evidence, and then they're able to move forward that gives them the impetus to move forward and continue. So it's not something like you are required to show up and, I need your attendance to school every day. It's your choice. If you choose to participate and be a conscious co-creator, you will see the results either way. So whatever you're directing it at, you'll always see the results.
Yeah.
The universe is not personal. It doesn't care. It's responding to your energy, your vibration.
Yeah. And I like the way you said that it's up to them to show up, and we are all co-creators. We are the author of our book. We are the artists that paint the canvas of our life. And in waking up, we then realize that. So it is about us taking responsibility and being disciplined enough to keep on going and keep on seeking that advice, because you never stop asking. You never stop looking for help or advice. You go from stage to stage, and different things need different requirements.
Well, yeah, and some people even say, well, I don't have anything, my life is terrible and everything is going against me. And trust me, I've had numerous challenges in my life, but and again, we're all different. But no matter, my opinion is no matter where you are or what your life is, you can always improve. You can always improve your life experience so that it is the most liberating experience for you.
Yes.
I think Viktor Frankl said that, to paraphrase, when he was in the concentration camps. He said, no one can take my thoughts or my mind. He was in the most horrific conditions possibly known to man, but they did not take his mind. He wrote an entire book on this that's a bestseller. So even if you're in a terrible physical experience, it doesn't mean you're down and out for the good. There
No.
is always, there is always another, you can always continue and keep going forward. So I like to give people that encouragement, the support, the guidance, because it can get extremely difficult, especially with what's our world right now. And we do live in the physical world. We are in the physical realm as well. So assisting people, giving them tools, helping them along the way, and just like you said, giving them the tools so they can do it on their own. I don't
Yeah.
mean to keep paraphrasing it, but I think that's what Jesus said too, and I'm not religious by any means. Teach a man to fish, and something you'll teach him, or give a man a fish, he can eat, and teach him how he'll eat for his lifetime.
Yeah, he can feed himself for a lifetime.
Right. And turning the water into wine, and that all of this I can do, you can do this and more. So
Thank
all
you.
the religions say this. Everybody talks about it. So no matter what level you're at, it doesn't matter. There's something for every single person in this world right now, if it's something you want to do. And again, there's plenty of resources online that you can look into. You can research yourself. Like I said, I have an intuitive guidance checklist that helps you using your intuition. That's for anybody. That's for anybody. So, and it's not just saying like, oh, it's green, that's a sign, that's not what we're looking at. It's a little more involved, but again, it's just like anything, like riding a bike. You just practice, you practice, you practice, and then again, if there other things you need to heal and working on your own inner healing, I also feel, and I definitely want to make sure I mention that, as I believe as well that your inner healing is extremely important. And as you do more of your inner healing, you'll be able to decide and discern what's your intuition and what's not exactly. So,
Danya, you've spoken a lot about the different tools, and so how can people connect with you if they want to talk to you more, if they want to communicate with you more? How does one do that?
Thank you. Absolutely. You can go to my website, outrageousliberation.com. You can schedule a coaching call with me. I also pull tarot cards. Sometimes people like tarot card readings. Again, always from the divine. And you can visit any of my social media pages. They're all Outrageous Liberation, because I believe that is what we are in right now. It is outrageous, but it's liberation. So
It is
I'm
outrageous.
here to help and support with this liberation, as outrageous as it is. And if you go to my website, outrageousliberation.com, you can read more about me and my media articles.
Okay.
And yeah.
Now, before I say thank you and let you go, because I know you're a busy lady, I would like you to leave us with 1 or 2 gold nuggets of advice that you feel will help people along their journey.
Ooh, that's a good question. I think number 1 is to take care of yourself first. Love yourself unconditionally. Do everything, help yourself in the ways that you would help everyone else around you. I think we all want to change the world, and everyone wants to do this and wants to do that. But I feel that the number 1 priority is you, and you're the only one who can do that. When you take good care of yourself, just like they tell us on the airplanes, then you're better able to take care of everything and everyone around you. And when you change, when you heal yourself, when you support your needs, everything that's beneficial for you, for your experience here, as you change, everything around you will start changing.
That's terrific.
So I actually think it's just 1 golden nugget, or maybe 2, is, again, the fastest way to shift your energy is gratitude. No matter how down and out you feel, if it's medical, financial, relationship, whatever it is, start looking around the room, start thinking in your mind, whatever works best for you, and come up with 5 items or less, if it's less, of what are you grateful for. And I mean truly grateful for, because you'll feel it in your heart. And as you shift and start changing that energy, it's my strong belief that that's how you will start shifting your day as well. So we're not living in the past, we're not living in the present. This is all we have right now. You can shift it. We start right now, and that's what continues your day and creates your future. And yeah, so gratitude and taking good care of yourself, and all the rest will follow as a result.
Thank you so much for that. And I think we hear this time and time again. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. It shifts so much. And to have that gratitude, you really have to look at what you have around you, as little as it may be. For somebody else, it's big. And it's those humbling experiences to have gratitude. And for being on this program. And for all of those who have been listening, thank you today. Danya has told you how to contact her. I will put it on the write-up when the video goes out. If she resonates, please, 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 she's there for you if you want to. And we all need help. So don't be shy. I know there's a lot of people around us that sometimes we can't talk to, who are not listening. They're not listening because they're not awakening. They're not feeling what we're feeling. So it is for us to seek those who are going through that journey, who have understood. And I hope those who've been on my platform, you'll reach out to them. So to everybody, thank you for joining me today. Danya, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.